Hello, today I'm going to tell you how to play the game Worshippers of Cthulhu. As soon as you arrive on the island, your Cthulhu's patience scale does not decrease. As long as you don't have any buildings, you also don't have a decrease in the amount of faith you were given at the start of the game. Therefore, you can safely clear the entire area around the remains of the building and thus get the first materials in the form of boards. You already have the main warehouse on the map. I advise you to build a road around it. All your buildings must be connected by roads. Next, we build Lumberjack. You need to make a road to this building. Please note that when you place Lumberjack on the ground, the map shows the area that is needed around it for effective operation. Everything is logical. There must be wood around to harvest it. No other buildings should be built in this area, as this will reduce the efficiency of Lumberjack. I recommend that you roughly fence off the boundaries of this area with a road so that other buildings do not enter this area later. Next, we build Lumber Mill outside the fenced area. I'm placing these two buildings a little further away from the center of the map. Later, we will put a warehouse nearby, and there will be a board mining operation. As you can see, the first quest is over, so we're on the right track. Next, we need to build the Builder's Shack in a new quest. Immediately after that, you may notice that your faith is starting to dwindle. Now the main task is to make it increase. Then you will be able to complete quests and build other buildings. You have to be very careful here. You have a certain amount of faith, and at the beginning it will be constantly going down, but we will fix it quickly. Faith grows when there are houses for cultists built. This is what the next quest offers us to do. Now we have only 6 cultists. Their number is indicated on this marker. The first houses have been built, but faith is not growing. The thing is that we need to meet the minimum needs of the residents in these houses. We will deal with this a little later. Now we continue to fulfill the starting quests, because they coincide with what we need for development. And I think this is no coincidence. We will appoint people to work in Lumberjack and Lumber Mill. 3 houses were not enough for me, so I'm adding another one. No faith is used to build houses, but materials such as boards are used. But when you build industrial buildings, you will immediately increase the consumption of faith. Be careful not to build too much at the beginning of the game. Next, let's move on with the quest. We need to build a sacrifice altar. This is the main altar for interacting with Cthulhu. By making sacrifices in the form of statuettes, you will increase your blessings. The scale of this parameter is located here. You need this to open new buildings and to be able to build them on the map. Let's perform the ritual right away. We have the necessary number of boards. You can start. It will be over pretty quickly. During this time, you can still build a few additional roads. Now we have a warehouse available to us. Let's build it immediately on the left side of the map. Here we will have most of the production facilities. On the right side of the map, we will develop settlements. Next, the quest asks us to see what needs need to be met by the residents. Build the Elders' Temple, which motivates the residents to work harder. If you click on a built structure, you will see a highlighted area where this structure is active. When your settlement grows, you will need to build another Elders' Temple near the new houses. Do not forget to perform a ritual at the sacrifice altar from time to time, but only when you do not have enough blessing points. This procedure takes a lot of faith, and we are saving it for now. Now you can build the Clam Collector. This will satisfy one of the needs of the residents. We are building it and appointing employees to work there. Now, if you have built something unnecessary, do not hesitate to destroy it immediately. You will get back the resources you spent and the amount of faith you used as well. As soon as the workers start collecting clam, the need of the residents will begin to be filled in percentage terms. The surplus after the need is met will be put into the warehouse. The generation of faith by residents has started to grow, and the overall consumption of faith is decreasing. This is what we need. Let's continue on. At this point, you may feel that you are running out of residents. The game will ask you to make a decision about the ship that arrived on your island. Here, any choice will be positive. You will increase the number of people, so you can build new houses for them, and raise the amount of faith generated on the island a little more. Next, we do another quest where you need to build the ceremony hall. This is a very necessary thing in the game. With its help, you can perform rituals, increase the fanaticism of your followers, and change the main specialization of the inhabitant. It is not difficult to understand how this happens. For example, you have assigned a resident whose main specialization is wood harvesting to collect shells. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you change this specialization, the shell harvesting will improve slightly due to additional bonuses. Just choose the symbol you need from the symbol book, perform the ritual, and that's it. You will increase the general fanaticism of the inhabitants and change the specialization of the selected inhabitant. Keep an eye out for new residents on the island. If you see that this marker is greater than 0, then you have residents who do not generate faith. You need to build a house for them. They don't even have to be employed in some kind of work, but they have to live in a house. Do not forget to enclose groups of houses with roads for your residents to move around the city. We have built houses for our residents, and the generation of faith has started to grow from a minus indicator to a plus. This is very good. Now we need to increase the generation of faith, to accumulate it. We need to build new buildings to meet the needs of the residents. But for this, we will have to perform a ritual to get a blessing, because the points are not enough. What can you do? Build a corn plantation and a corn cooser to make boiled corn. Our residents are hungry, and it's not surprising. The corn plantation building requires a field nearby to grow corn. You already know the scheme. We build a building, determine where the field will be located, assign workers to it, and fence it off with an expensive fence. Next to it, you build a corn cooser. Let the workers carry the corn from the plantation directly to the factory. When the process is launched, the need of the residents will be met, and each house will begin to generate even more faith. If necessary, you can perform the ritual of changing the specialty. Now we are in the black in terms of faith generation. We can exhale and continue with quests. Next, we are shown an island located nearby. It is suggested that you capture it, but you should not rush to complete this task yet. It is better to satisfy the needs of the inhabitants a little more, so that faith generation goes faster. Let's build a robe maker and a sheep farm. Sheep will be raised on the farm, and work clothes will be made from their wool at the factory next door. I think you already know what you need for this. You perform a ritual to get blessing points. You build buildings. You appoint workers to work there. You fence off the territory with a road. As soon as the process is started, you will see the generation of faith increase. This is what we need. There is no need to hurry. The other islands are not attacking us yet. There is no need to build defenses, and the quests can wait. Set everything up so that you have a steady increase in faith generation. Now that you feel stable, you can build a summoning ritual site. In this building, you can summon sea monsters and use them to capture prisoners, fight ships, and conquer other islands. In order for summoning ritual site to work, you need to build a pylon. To do this, of course, you need to get even more blessing points. Just in time for the quest, we are asked to accept new residents on the island. We do this and immediately build houses for them, preferably not far from the Elder's Temple, so that the residents get the necessary motivation to work. We go to the summoning ritual site and see that we need to make blood to summon. How to make it is not difficult to guess. You need blessing points, unlock blood drainer, and build sheep farm next to it. These two buildings work together to replenish the blood supply. Assign workers and leave this process alone. While you do other things, the workers will prepare everything. Periodically, the game will ask you to make a decision. The result of the decision will be either a reward or a punishment. You will see a marker above the main warehouse if you need to make a new decision. At the beginning of the game, everything is simple. All your decisions will have positive bonuses. Your settlement is growing, so you need to build more Elder's Temple and place new buildings near it. Now you're ready to build a beacon altar. After you perform a ritual in this altar, new residents will begin to arrive on your island. The number of new residents depends on the resources invested in the ritual. Each wave of new residents will arrive one after the other. You can see the time until the new arrival here. The blue scale is filling up, which means that new people are coming soon. You need to accommodate them. It will increase your faith generation. When there are too many inhabitants, your resource extraction plants will not be able to cope with the volume. You will need to build duplicates of all those structures that you have already built. To track the amount of your resources, open the tab in the upper left corner and look at it periodically. Green triangles indicate that your inventory is growing. Red triangles indicate that the stock in the warehouse is decreasing. This means that the demand exceeds the amount you can produce. Just build another farm, plant, or factory nearby. You have to find a balance here. If you build too much, you will quickly run out of faith. If you build too little, you will have a problem generating it. When you see that the total stock of faith is critically low, stop and just wait. Think about your development strategy. At this time, the margin of error will increase. Of course, if you did everything right, don't rush to complete the quests any further. There is no rush for now. Wait until you have enough faith, and while you wait, new settlers will arrive. Build houses for them, and thus increase the generation of faith even more. When the stock of faith is sufficient, you are sure that your island is profitable. The reserves are growing. It's time to summon the sea monster and take over the next island. In the future, you will need other buildings, especially defensive towers. You will need to defend your islands. Later, Cthulhu's patience scale will be activated. If it drops to 0, the game will end. To maintain it, you will need to perform rituals in the ceremony hall and complete quests on time. I won't go into all the details of the game. I think after this guide, you are ready to master what the game offers you on your own. You already know the basic procedures, sequences, and dependencies. I will only say that if you need new resources or residents to perform rituals, do not use those who are already involved in established work. Develop your settlement and don't change what already works perfectly. If you're interested in this game and want to see something else interesting about it, check out my latest general review of the game. In this video, I describe all the pros and cons of the game. You will definitely find it interesting. See you soon, my friend.